Hello and oops, thanks so much for looking at my last video and for your nice comments. This is video number 2 and I thought I'd do another talk that I've already done at Sunday Assembly. It was from a Sunday Assembly and the theme was stories. In particular, the stories that you tell yourself and about the world around you. And so it seemed appropriate to begin with a story, and I chose one from the Zen Buddhist tradition. It starts with a young monk and an old monk. In Zen, there's always a young monk and an old monk. Then the young gun tries the old boy's patience, but learns something in the end. I like to think that these stories were the buddy cop movies of the day, and when a new Zen monk blockbuster was released, there'd be queues around the campfire. Everyone would love to hear the tale of Beverly Hills Coptic Monk, Lethal Monk 4 starring Benedictine Cumberbatch, or Bad Boys 2 can achieve enlightenment through years of contemplative practice. If the monastic setting doesn't grab you then, imagine that one of the monks is a grizzled black veteran one day away from retirement who is getting too old for this spit. T'other monk is a crazy young ex-Vietnam vet who is acted by an Australian who is actually an anti-Semite. Actually, don't imagine all that. It just complicates matters. There are two monks, classic monks, old monk, young monk, shaved head, robes, etc. They're walking through town, it's raining, its roads have turned to mud, it is pouring down. This noble lady stops in front of them on a sedan chair. She's snooty, she's got resting witch face. The road is filthy between the sedan chair and the steps of her palace. It's clear she doesn't want to wade through the filth. The old monk offers to carry her. She climbs onto his back without so much as a by your leave. What a... He struggles along, gets muddy, trips a bit, gets muddier still. Noble lady gets to the steps, hops off, hops through the doors of her palace, not a word of thanks, appreciation, or even acknowledgement. I know, what a... I bet she's the sort of person who hides Tupperware lids for fun. It was her who introduced the moths into your fine knitwear collection. When she's in the pub, she drinks a lot slower than you, and then there's just the two of you and you're trying to work out whether you should get a drink for you even though it's her round. You decide to get a drink because, you know, why stress too much? Then as you're up to get your drink, you think, well, I might as well get her a drink, and the whole round system is broken. This woman doesn't even obey basic version control protocols in mission critical documents. The two monks walk on, the sun comes out, the clouds clear, it's a gorgeous day, but the young monk doesn't notice it. He's fuming, incandescent, geese fly by, butterflies land on his shoulder, doesn't see it. Old monk, however, totally relaxed, giving off the DLVs, the Dalai Lama vibes. Young monk just bursts out, "How did you let her treat you like that? Why didn't you say anything? How could you let her be so rude?" Old monk takes a moment to realise what his buddy's talking about. "Oh, you mean the lady back in the town? I put her down hours ago. Why are you still carrying her?" "What? How'd you like some knowledge in your face, my young monkey mate? Buddy, you better ring an ambulance, get to intensive care, get some skin grafts, cover them in bandages, ice up, son, rest for months, do physio, change the bandages, rest some more, hope the skin grafts take, mate, because that is the only way that you can cope with that sick burn." Bruv, you thought you were wise, but you're not old Zen monk wise. He is the wisdom and you are the whiz submissive. Dennis wise, Morecambe wise, sun wise on a saying rainy day. Due to financial constraints, we're not able to accommodate you. Pay rise wise. Have got nothing on old Zen monk wise. Wise County Courthouse is in the town of Wise in Virginia's Wise County, and pal, it's got nothing on old Zen monk wise. You're playing Scrabble in Y fronts, wondering why the only letter you've got are wise, and you're still not as wise as old Zen monk wise. What did old Zen monk mean? Young monk was still carrying the noble, but old monk had put her down. Young monk was still carrying his hurt, his damage, his pain. The question is, are you still carrying your pain? Are you letting your past define you? Are you letting your suffering be the story you tell yourself? And we hold on to our unhelpful stories for so many reasons. Sometimes stories that we keep carrying helped us in the past. Being angry, unforgiving and relentless helped me get where I am today. But will it help you get where you want to be tomorrow? And FYI, right now, everyone thinks you're a D-bag. These stories become true because the way we see the world, bit of a scratch, becomes the world that we live in. When I was a teenager, I saw one of my sisters give someone the wrong direction somewhere, and I thought, that's hilarious. I'll do that. I know. I was a teenage D-bag. But then when I went to ask other people for directions, I always thought that they were lying to me because I lied to other people, and so I ended up not being able to get directions. My story had become my reality. And so if you don't trust people, they won't trust you, and your story will become true. If you don't like people, they won't like you, and your story will become true. Luckily, if you're kind to people, they'll be kind to you, and your story can come true. And there's another way stories can become helpful. If they're true, it means we can keep on doing them. Well, I'm addicted to shopping compulsively online, and so I get to keep on compulsively shopping online. You know, you allow yourself to keep them being true. And sometimes we have to hold on to stories of the past, otherwise justice will not be served. But other injustices we can probably let go. You can probably forgive your mother for not being as supportive as she could be when you decided to go to circus school 20 years ago. Holding on to resentment is like drinking poison and hoping it kills your enemy. It's worse than that. It's like drinking kale juice and hoping your nemesis tastes it. So what stories are you holding on to? What stories are holding on to you? And maybe you can ask yourself, which ones can you put down today? Hey, thanks very much. I'm going to be really excited if this video records, because I've tried to make it seem as I'm casually walking into work, but I've in fact had to do this many, many times because the technology has failed. So, hope this goes up. Goodbye.